All right. Looks like we have everyone in here now that's joining at this moment. So good evening and welcome to the Alpha Phi Omega Chapter President Town Hall. My name is Marissa Schultz and I'm the fraternity's Director of Chapter Services and the moderator for this evening's session. With me tonight, I have National President Melody Martin and Vice President Disraeli Smith, who are going to share some updates of the organization as well as tackle the questions you all submitted in advance. Before I hand it over to Melody and Disraeli, let's first talk a bit about the format for this evening. Like I said, some of you submitted questions in advance, which will not only be answered in part by Melody and Disraeli, but also in part by you all. We're going to start off with Q&A with Melody and Disraeli before we turn some of the questions asked to you all to offer advice, tactics, solutions for the things you all are most curious about. If you're comfortable, please feel free to turn on your camera, use the chat for questions, and jump into the conversation by unmuting yourself at any point. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Melody and Disraeli to introduce themselves and get us kicked off.
All right, thank you, Marissa, and welcome to all of our brothers who are joining us this evening. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to do so. We're gathering for our first town hall of this calendar year and also our first town hall of our centennial year, which, hasn't the significance of the moment hasn't quite passed me up here, but nearly 100 years ago, a group of brothers about the size of this group on our call got together and they decided that they wanted to improve the world that they lived in through leadership and service. And today you represent that same spirit on your campuses all across the country. Our centennial year gives us a unique opportunity to honor both the legacy and the past of the fraternity, as well as looking forward to the future and the next 100 years. Obviously, as chapter presidents and chapter officers, you all are going to be the ones that are going to lead us into that future. So I'm excited tonight to be able to hear your thoughts on a lot of different topics, on the things that you guys have submitted and some of the open-ended questions that we're going to kind of, flip at the end of our time here together. All right, with that, Disraeli, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Melody, and apologies that my computer camera is deciding to be dumb this evening, but I'm Disraeli Smith. I'm the National Vice President, and you see my lovely profile picture on the screen. I just want to also echo my thanks and appreciation for all of you joining us this evening. As Melody spoke about our journey through our 100 years, I actually want to focus on each of you. Each of you are leaders in this room, joined by thousands of others, and you carry forward a tradition of both student advocacy, but also innovation that has defined this organization for the past 99 years and 4 months as we continue to approach 100. So you all bring very unique perspectives that's vital to our work and is necessary for us to continue to evolve. So tonight is not just a meeting. This is actually an opportunity for dialogue and problem solving. So I encourage you as we get to that section of this evening to lean in and support each other and also actually help us with one of the questions in particular. So with that, thanks.
Cool. Thanks, Disraeli. Thanks, Melody. So like we shared, you all submitted some questions in advance to be answered during this session. So we're going to go ahead and move into Q&A with Melody and Disraeli. Keep in mind, again, like Disraeli said, this is open dialogue. So if something shared sparks a follow-up question, please feel free to unmute yourself or drop a question, a comment in the chat so that we can continue the conversation or answer questions as they may come up. A lot of good information will be shared this evening that might spark a new thought, so feel free to jump in throughout. So with that, Melody, we're going to start with you to kick off the Q&A. How can we get our chapters to join in celebrating APO's 100th birthday?
Oh, of course. Lots of different ways to be able to celebrate the 100th. And first, it's quite an amazing time to actually be an active brother while we are celebrating the 100th. And some of the ways that your chapter can get involved are, Marissa's going to post a link, so I'll babble through this and you guys can grab the information off the website later. But 100 member chapter challenge is first. So we challenge you to grow your chapter's membership to either 100 members or increase by 100% or 10%. So I see some eyes going, 100 members, what? So what if your chapter's at 20 members? Can you make it to 40 by the end of the year when we celebrate the centennial? If your chapter is at 60, can you get it to 100? If your chapter is struggling and you've got 8 people, can you get it to 10 people? So definitely working to grow your chapter's membership. There will be some recognitions for that at the end of the year to be recognized as 100-member chapter challenge participants. Also, the centennial member recognition. Who do you know in your Alpha Phi Omega chapter, actives, alumni, other members that you've met along the way from other universities that really are the champions of Alpha Phi Omega, the people and the brothers who go above and beyond? There's a way to recognize them in current members, including yourself. And, kind of shout outs to those who inspire us. So fraternity-wide, we'll be creating a centennial member recognition. And it's for individuals just like you or the people who inspire you. So not necessarily the people who, always show up in your pledge manual, or somebody who did something great that was like 70 years ago. Their contributions are important too, but what are the people and who are the brothers that inspire you right now? Also, the third one is the 100 Years of Service Challenge. It's a little friendly competition with a log on the website and probably on the portal too, where you individually and every member of your chapter or your chapter collectively can track your service hours. Can you do 100 hours of service? Not just the ones that your chapter, counts towards credit within your chapter membership, but can you and your brothers in your chapter each do 100 hours of service this year before the centennial? And I think if you all take a moment to kind of reflect, especially officers in your chapter, there are a ton of things that you do to support your chapter. I guarantee that nearly everyone on this call is probably involved in some other type of organization or residence hall organizations on your campuses and in your community. So if you really logged and looked at every single volunteer hour that you do, whether it's formal for APO or not, can you get to 100 hours of service? And I encourage you all to find the log that is on the website and the link that's in the chat and record and document all of those. Doesn't have to be formal or fancy. I think in the log, it gives you an opportunity to list the organization. So for myself, if I'm volunteering with a parent-teacher organization at my kid's school, I can include that. It doesn't have to be APO. It could be any organization. And that's a good way to kind of challenge your brothers and see if your chapter can come out on top as we move through the year. Also, kind of the pinnacle of all of this is our national convention in December in Philadelphia. December 27th through the 30th is going to be a huge event. You're not going to want to miss that. A way to celebrate to celebrate all of our brothers, to have basically the big asses party that we've celebrated in a long time. Pardon my poor language there, but anyway, and plan for yourself and plan for your brothers to be there. Again, it's going to be an opportunity that you don't want to miss. And I think I babbled enough. Marissa, did I get all the answers that the original question even asked?
Yeah, absolutely. And keep in mind, registration for National Convention, although it's, the event's in December, registration will be opening soon. So keep an eye out for more information. You can start preparing your chapter now, from selecting voting delegates to fundraising, inquiring on your campus if there are any funding opportunities for like leadership conferences. So start getting your ducks in a line now to see how your chapter can participate and celebrate in Philly with us. I'm going to pass the mic over to Disraeli for the next question on the same or a similar topic. What other events are coming up that students should be preparing for?
Hey, thanks, Marissa, for that. We're in the spring semester, so you all should have heard already, or will hear soon, about sectional conferences. These are, low cost opportunities to meet new friends across your individual sections or your entire region, depending on where you are in the country. You can see that on the APO website calendar. There's also going to be a link in the chat if it's not there already. Or you can reach out to your section or region chair to get more information about the conference. Would tell you that most of your conferences, a handful of them are in a couple of weeks, but most of them are in late March or the first 2 weeks in April. The other thing I think of particular interest to this group is that we will be hosting an in-person Chapters President Academy this summer. It's going to be a weekend retreat for chapter presidents, like incoming presidents or returning presidents, to help transform your chapter's future. You'll be joining fellow chapter presidents for a 2-day programming where education and development meet collaboration and problem solving. You'll actually be working directly with experienced fraternity leaders, probably such as Melody and myself, who understand both the challenges that you face in doing fellowship activities, leadership activities, service projects, etc., while also providing structured learning sessions and networking. This event is scheduled to take place the weekend of July 25th to 27th at Georgia Tech Institute of Technology in Atlanta, Georgia. The cost is only $45. That includes on-campus housing and your meals for the weekend. And some of your regions may actually be willing to sponsor your attendance, depending on the region, as we're in the process of working that out with them. So be on the lookout for email, I would say, in the next few weeks that provides more information and the registration details for that. But go ahead and put a save the date in your calendar. And I'll just re-emphasize, I look forward to seeing all 15 or so of y'all in Philadelphia at our Centennial Convention in the city of brotherly love, December 27th through 30th.
Thanks, Disraeli. If anyone has any questions about national conventions, sectional conferences, the Chapter Presidents Academy, I put an email in the chat that if you have questions that come up later, a few days from now, a few weeks from now, about any of these events, feel free to shoot a message to that email, and we'll have some other follow-up communication methods for you at the end of this session. So anything event related, though, can go there. Melody, back to you. The next question is, how can we encourage members to do more community service?
Oh, great question. And one that comes up frequently in sort of our APO lives. The first thing that I would say is ask your brothers, what are the things that inspire you? What are the things that inspire your brothers? Do you have individuals who love animals? Do you have individuals who love working with kids? Do you have brothers who rather be outside doing things in nature? Do you have brothers who are more in line with, some, I don't know, political activism and speaking up for those who can't speak up for themselves? Ask your brothers and your chapter members what kinds of things that they're interested in, and then spin it and help them to go and find and plan a project around that. Some of these things can be real quick at a chapter meeting where you just do some brainstorming sessions with some sticky notes or whiteboards or whatever facilities that you have available. But then ask those brothers to, take it away and go find an organization or go create a project. Doesn't have to be tied to another organization that meets those needs of, whatever the area of interest is for them. Another thing to consider is making sure that the service projects that your chapter is planning are accessible. Are there projects that are available, during the morning hours, during the evening hours, on weekends, on campus, off campus, things that people can do remotely? Are there projects that someone can do while they're sitting studying in between class? Is there something that they can work on throughout the week and bring it back to the next chapter meeting? Be like, look, here are the 27 bookmarks that I made that we're going to donate to the library. So making things versatile, making things accessible, and sometimes brothers just need to kind of see the impact. If you have done a service project where you made kits for the homeless, is there a way for your chapter brothers to see the impact that has? Are you able to share a thank you note from the organization? Are you able to share a story that kind of ties it back to the recipient and how much they appreciated whatever it was that you did for them? If you do trash pickup along a highway, can you literally see that there is no litter and it looks amazing compared to the way it looked beforehand? Here's the before and the after, and all of your good work that went into it. I think that's a good start.
On a similar note, and Melody, we're going to stick with you. How can chapters motivate members to want to go to fellowship events?
I think the answer is kind of the same as before. It's like, what are the things that your members are interested in? And do you have a good variety of those things? If everybody is burnt out on movie night, can we find something else that is more of interest? Are there, other activities that maybe are shorter? Can you build in a fellowship or a fun activity, some icebreaker type things, and some fun get to know you type games with your new members during a chapter meeting? And again, back to the previous answer, it's like, can you make it accessible? Are there things that you can do on campus? Are there things that don't require a car if you don't have a car? Are there things that can be kind of spur of the moment and don't require a ton of planning to just go hang out? Like, we're just literally going to go hang out on the spot. See you all there in 5 minutes. Let's go.
Thanks, Melody. Disraeli, I'm going to turn it over to you on the same topic of engagement. How can we make chapter meetings more effective so people want to go and actively participate in those meetings?
That's a good question. As a former chapter president myself, and someone who struggled with that at times, I would say evaluate what's actually working and not working. At my job, I do nonprofit consulting, so we help nonprofits with their strategies and whatnot. And one thing that we tend to do is what should we start doing? What should we stop doing? And what should we continue doing? And I would encourage you to do that with your meeting. What things are working well? You should keep doing them. What things aren't working well? You should stop doing them. What ideas might bring people and engage folks to do things? You should start doing them. As an example of that may be making time for both business and pleasure. Your chapter meetings are also an opportunity to connect as a brotherhood, to be brotherly with each other. And it's one of the few regular opportunities that everyone is in a room. So you want to make the most of it by both doing business and pleasure. I would encourage you all to think about creative ways to incorporate like your leadership membership requirements. Maybe there's a service project as part of the chapter meeting, or maybe there's an opportunity to do something related to leadership or friendship. And then have people engaged by like sharing updates. What's happening? How are you celebrating? One of the things my chapter did at the end of each meeting is we would go around and share what was going on in life, which actually convinced people to come, because if they wanted to talk about, hey, I'm doing a birthday party, or hey, I need help with this, then it would get them excited to come to the meeting. So any suggestions from as simple as pass the gavel and say what you want to say to, have different types of fun events during your meetings? Try it out.
Thanks, Disraeli. Melody, back to you. What business items should chapters have front of mind right now?
Oh, good one. So number one, reporting your membership. I'm going to guess that within the last few weeks, in the last 10 days, many of you have had a new member pledge ceremony. And if you have not already put all of that into the officer portal to report those members, please get that done very soon. Again, your goal should always be to replace yourself plus one. So every semester, are you bringing in, and is every member of your chapter bringing in 2 new people to kind of replace yourself to cover graduations, etc. Spring chapter reaffirmation deadline. It's a mouthful. That basically means that by March 15th, you're going to fill out the report that says, here are all of our returning members, and here are all of the dues that go with those returning members. So that needs to take place, and the deadline for that is March 15th. For a few of you, you may remember that it used to be April 15th, and at our last national convention, it changed to March 15th. So March 15th, 30 days from now, roughly, it's going to sneak up on you. Those forms and those fees need to be paid through the officer portal to the national office. And that is that's your returning members. That's not your new members or your new pledges that you have for this semester. So these are your returning older brothers. Also tie up any loose ends from previous semesters. If you've got membership reporting that didn't happen for the fall semester, take care of that. If you've got any outstanding payments, take care of that. Make sure that your officer and your advisor lists are up to date. Did you just change officers at the beginning of the semester? Some chapters do some offices for the whole year and some are just a semester. Some chapters do officers calendar year versus academic year. So make sure whatever's listed in the officer portal is correct for your officers and your advisors. And also make sure if there's any other open forms in there that you take care of them. We'll have coming up Spring Youth Service Day as well. So just make sure that those loose ends are taken care of. Make sure if you've got anybody who didn't, any of your new members who didn't click the box after you sent them the link, they have to actually accept and say, yes, I'm planning to be a member of Alpha Phi Omega. Follow up with those because those will be highlighted in there as well, that they need to complete the step so that they're properly recorded. And register for your sectional and regional conferences that are coming up.
Thanks, Melody. So we're going to go ahead and transition and flip the Q&A to you all. So there were more questions that were submitted through registration and also digging further into some of what's already been shared. So Melody and Disraeli are going to pose some questions to you all to help each other solution find, get an answer to a question someone was curious about learning coming into our session this evening. So just as you all have come here to learn and listen, not only from Melody and Disraeli, but we want to offer you all the opportunity to share your experiences. So a handful of questions that Melody and Disraeli are going to pose to the group for you all to help each other succeed in the term ahead. So Melody or Disraeli, whoever wants to get us started.
I'll fire one off. And this basically ties to a conversation that we just had. So what is a component of a chapter meeting that your chapter has implemented that keeps members engaged in regular meetings? So as Disraeli said, what's working? He said, whatever's working, keep doing it. So in your chapter meetings, what's working to keep members engaged? And anyone can feel free to. Go ahead.
I would love to answer that. So at the end of our meetings, we have this this piggy bank pig that we use. We call him Dr. Freak. He has his license. Even has like a little outfit. But at the beginning of the meeting, we ask like a fun icebreaker question. Like today, we asked if you had to survive in a room for 20 minutes with an animal, what animal would it be? And so we pass around this pig, and everybody puts their little sticky note in it. And at the end, the president, me, will read it out, and some people will explain their answers, and some people will have a laugh, maybe put a little joke in there, or ask how everybody's doing. So, and that was a recent thing that we started last semester, and people really seem to enjoy it. So.
Awesome. I love that idea. Anyone else have anything that's working and that you'd love to share?
So my chapter does what we call Brother and Advisor of the Week. So basically, we have these little stuffed lions that we have 2 of them, and a brother gets one for doing something good that week. Like if, you got your slides done or you planned a service project, you might get Brother of the Week. And then you take the little stuffed animal, it's kind of like Flat Stanley, and you take him around with you throughout your week, and you take a picture in class or you do stuff like that, and then you upload it, so then it allows people to kind of see what you're doing that week. And people are like fighting to be Brother of the Week because they want to take this stuffed animal with them and the fun things they're doing. I know the national president has a few photos with our chapter stuffed animal. So
chapter does something similar. We do member of the week, but we just have like a little decorated gavel for the members who do it, and we have them do like a show and tell at chapters. So you take your pictures, then you get a slide and just get to talk about it, and people also fight for it, and it's very popular. We also do what we call toasts. We're a giant chapter. We have like over 200 people, so it's hard to kind of get everyone acknowledged all the time. So toasts are just a way to do a quick shout out. Like we open up the floor and someone will be like, oh, this person did this nice thing for me this week. Or like this person aced a test. Fun, like small kind of spur of the moment things that people can just shout out, and people really like it.
I just want to say we also do something really similar. We have this giant stuffed giraffe, and his name is Gerard. And every 2 weeks, someone will take him like back to their dorm to keep for the next 2 weeks, just because they've done a really good job in our chapter. And then another thing we do at the end of chapters, we do this thing called Way to Go, where like say something that really awesome that you did this week that you're really proud of, and so I'll do it, and it's super fun.
Awesome. I love that. I think it's very interesting that many chapters have what I'm going to call like a chapter mascot, and also there's a very competitiveness to this Brother of the Week and who's got the mascot or who gets to take it next. All right, Disraeli, you want to pick another question?
Yeah, I look forward to seeing all these mascots in Philadelphia and getting pictures with them. So
we did have a mascot. You and I didn't get to participate, but there was a mascot meetup at the last national convention. While we were busy on the stage doing business, they were all out in the lobby having a mascot meetup. So if you have one, bring it.
It sounds like we need to get that on the official itinerary of the national president and vice president. We should talk to our handlers to make that happen. Anyway,
so we're not busy doing business while the fun's happening.
Exactly. That's what you can look forward to in Philadelphia. But my question I just wanted to bring up are, what are some unexpected challenges that you faced first when taking on your role as chapter president, and how did you overcome them? Go for it.
I'm new, Alyssa, and I'm trying to reestablish the chapter at Louisiana State University. And at the moment, my biggest challenge is just getting awareness about who we are out to the campus. A lot of people, they're used to certain organizations, and just unfamiliarity is kind of nerve-wracking to some people when they're choosing to join an organization. So for me, I'm just trying to figure out how to keep it going, get people engaged outside of chapter meetings, just period. Just how do I get people to trust us and really want to take this step forward with joining us? I hope that made sense and it wasn't just a long block.
Yeah, no, it made complete sense. Thank you for that. And good luck.
Thank you.
I would love to say that our chapter is having like a similar issue, with just getting people interested in joining. Um, our chapter is pretty small. We have about 11 people right now, and that number is slowly going down just because it's hard to get people interested in joining. They hear fraternity and then they get scared, and so it's just kind of like, how do we get people interested in our chapter and doing service for the community and stuff like that. Um, I wouldn't say we've found a way to solve that problem, but we are implementing rolling recruitment this semester, so we're hoping that that will help a lot.
Do you mind sharing just really quickly a little bit about what rolling recruitment means to your chapter? For some folks, it might be a new concept because I think a lot of us are more familiar with that traditional recruitment that we see in a lot of other Greek letter organizations.
Yeah, so rolling recruitment basically means that throughout the semester, people can join. Say we have like a small pledge class start right at the end of January. If somebody's interested in joining in like the end of February, they would kind of just like join right in the middle of pledge class and stick in it basically what they're learning, and then they'll follow through with like the beginning of what they missed, and kind of just like, so there's constantly new people joining throughout the semester basically.
Thanks for elaborating on that.
Yeah, my chapter actually has a very similar problem where we've implemented rolling recruitment this semester because our fraternity is kind of small, so not a lot of people know about us, and also we have another service fraternity on a pretty small campus, so we have like direct competition for members. So for us, for rolling recruitment, it's like she said, for the most part, if someone's joining in late, if it's like really close to when we started doing our actual official like P&M process, then they can just hop in. But I think in the later months we're going to do it as sort of like a secondary pledge class and then like have them all join together officially, but just to like keep them on track with all the educational aspects.
My chapter is doing something similar as well, some almost like pretty much the same story, honestly, but we're kind of just like trying to implement different activities rather than just a regular meeting, because our like we have a weekly meeting and it seems like we don't have much to talk about. So we're trying to do like more engaging events and then just making those open, honestly, and then doing like almost having the pledge class at almost towards the end of the semester. So kind of similar to what other people have said.
Great. Melody, I'll toss it back to you.
All right. Let's go with this. So tell us about what types of events and activities make you and your chapter say, yes, I want to go to that. Especially if it costs money, like conferences or national convention, which costs a lot of money. So what makes you either individually or your chapter say, yeah, we want to do that?
I would love to share kind of our semesterly event. It's called Ginger Cascades. I think whenever we have to do our member interviews for new pledges, they always ask, "What's your favorite service event?" And everybody always responds with Ginger. It's basically a Girl Scout camp in Lenore, and we spend an entire weekend there helping out, cleaning up stuff, building things, painting things, really whatever they need done. And we sleep in a cabin. We have fires, roast marshmallows. It's really a fun time. Um, it's really like one of the reasons I joined. Um, and unfortunately, because of Hurricane Helene, we haven't been able to do it. But we're hoping we can either get it started at the end of this semester or start it back up next semester. But I'd say, ask any one of our members in this chapter. That's probably their favorite event, service event, even the alums. It's a very memorable one for everybody.
All right. Anyone else? What makes you or your chapter say, I want to go do that? Doesn't have to be APO related.
I think. Can I add to it? Do you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So definitely playing to like what your chapter wants. A lot of the time, our chapter, we try to ask them for a lot of input on what they want to see out of events. So a lot of people, they really enjoy going to a local APO retreat. So we try to do that every single spring. A lot of people like going ice skating. So we try to do that every single winter quarter. So generally just playing to like what they would probably already do with their own money, and then just making it an event that we all go and hang out for. And then for like conferences, just really pushing like that is like development, like you're building yourself up, because I know like a lot of people, they don't want to spend money to go to like an event sometimes, but if it's something that's like an investment, like you say, oh yes, we do leadership seminars, we do team building events where you can like, learn how to work better on a team, stuff like that. Just making sure that people understand that like, it's not just going to a conference. You're getting like all these skills and experiences out of it. And plus you get to meet a lot of cool people.
I feel like something that works really well is when we have events sort of connected together. So we try to pay for or make food whenever we can. If it's something where like they'd be missing lunch, or we all carpool together and we just sort of hype it up as like, oh, we're gonna have this one like fellowship event where we're all going to get together and make sandwiches, and then we're gonna go out and we're gonna clean up this place, and it's gonna be fun. So sort of like building momentum.
I think.
You
Go
can
ahead.
So I'm currently at the extension group at Elizabethtown College, and I think for us is probably events that are more bang for our buck. So either cheaper or something that we're going to get a lot out of. So more towards like things like that. I know we're looking towards. We just paid our initiation dues. Well, not our initiation dues, our new member fees, and then we're hopefully paying initiation fees later. So like things that are more towards the cheaper side, or things that are going to be really worthwhile, or more what like we're looking for from national or just sectional or regional as a whole.
All right, I see a hand.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aaliyah Wilson. I am president of the Zeta Phi chapter of Alpha Omega National Service Fraternity at Howard University, which is in Washington, D.C. I feel like typically for us, we kind of see what's needed at Howard or in the D.C. community. So that's kind of the things we use to like figure out what events and just different things we're going to do.
I think one of our biggest things was for the previous national convention, we hadn't had any brothers attend beforehand. And so they were all kind of unknowing of what national convention was. And so we just kind of were like, let's go, let's see what it's about, like, let's learn all the things. And then we were lucky enough to have most of our chapter able to go to national convention. We only had a couple that couldn't go due to other commitments. But then when they came back, the first meeting back, we sat down and all we talked about was national convention and what we learned, the photos that we took, the fact that one of our people got COVID, all the crazy stories of things that happened there, which is then pushing the rest of our chapter to be like, I am going to go to the next one, especially since it's the 100th celebration.
All right, thank you all for that. Disraeli, what's up next?
Yeah, so appreciate that. What systems or processes have you all recently implemented that helped you improve your chapter's efficiency? Go for it, Aaliyah.
I feel like a big one for us has been like delegating tasks to different people. So like especially with me, like with the role of president, it's like it can be a lot. And I come from like more so of like I feel like when I do something, I like it like my way. So it's been hard for me to like learn how to delegate to do different things and to give people different roles. I feel like that's what's really been helping us this year.
Hey, Ethan, go for it.
I think adding on to that too, yeah, it's definitely delegating and making sure that, I think a big thing that helps is making sure people are involved because now they have a little bit of buy-in. It's like, oh, I helped to run this event, so now I want to make people go to it, right? Also, it helps them own it too, right? So the more people that contribute to like the chapter and getting things like going, and we're all like making like they can also look back and see that, oh my gosh, our chapter is growing. I'm creating a community. I'm putting a partner. It doesn't just have to be exec members, right? It could be anybody who wants to be a part of that situation. So I think just in general, making sure that like, let's say somebody has an event they want to run, you empower them to do that is a very big contributor to, actually making a chapter run better.
All right.
It's not recently implemented for us, but it's something that I think like really helps us and our efficiency and getting everyone involved, like you were just saying, Ethan. Because we have so many members, we tend to run, or we run in committee, is what we call it. So everyone has a committee credit, and you're placed under an exec member or a like appointed officer position, and everyone is participating in helping the chapter in some way. And I found that it's helpful for like getting engagement and then also pushing forward those people who really do want to do more, but maybe don't have the full time for an exec position or an officer position. And it's also nice because then it allows us to like delegate over a small group of people individually. Like as president for my chapter, I run the senior banquet that we do in spring. And so I have a group of 10 people that are helping me with that. So execs doing all their other stuff, and I just have my group that I can delegate to. So it really, really helps.
I will say we implemented the same thing pretty recently, like last semester, and it was very, very helpful. Like I know our fundraising committee put together homecoming and getting the alumni together, and that was incredibly helpful. So definitely recommend committees because I recommended them.
All right. Cool. Melly, I'll turn it back to you.
All right. Let's share some examples of how you've leveraged social media and your digital platforms, whatever they might be, to kind of help members connect outside of your chapter meetings and your chapter activities. Or how you've connected with other chapters through your social media.
It's not really like other chapters or members for us, but we just were able to get a lot more alumni engagement through our Instagram because we went back and we have scrapbooks probably from the 80s, I think is the like earliest one we have. And we scanned all of them and took pictures and we started uploading them on our Instagram sometimes as like little flashbacks. It was super awesome because alumni would comment and be like, oh my God, like I remember this day, or like tag people. And it was like a really fun way for like me being on exec, I am like very aware of how big APO is as a national org, but like I think it was really helpful for our brothers who don't necessarily see that or can't really see beyond APO in their 4 years in college, and it like helped them show that you can still have that past graduating. So it was awesome.
I would like to say our chapter, we have an Instagram and a Facebook, and we constantly post on their upcoming events, event calendars, and then also once an event is over, we always post photos of what we did there. We do get a lot of activity like from brothers, but also alumni on our Instagram. And we are also reaching out to our chapter's alumni Facebook page to try and get them involved in more of our service events. and also more of our fundraising events and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing currently.
Oh, I can share. Just like Leah, we also do similar things. We also have like a group me. So we have one called Keeping Up with Zeta Phi. So that's like for our alumni. So just so they know what we have going on. And then like we also have like a group me for like the other chapters that are in like the DC, Maryland area, well, the region in. So that's kind of the ways we kind of like connect with each other.
Awesome, thank you. Disraeli, what's next?
Yeah, so does your chapter retain members after the initial excitement from joining APO wears off?
I guess I can kind of speak on this. So it's a lot of giving them things to do. Like we're planning our chapter's 25th anniversary this coming March, which you should all come to. Subtle plug. But giving them things like I have one brother who's looking on Amazon for decorations. I have another brother who's, making sure that we have raffle baskets ready. We have things like that so that they feel like they can't leave because they have like a part of the chapter. Like they have like nobody else is going to do raffle baskets if you leave. Like I need you to be there and show up every week for that.
All right, I saw two hands. Let's go Ethan and then Griffin.
Thank you. Okay, so I think adding on to that, it definitely is making sure that making your brothers know that you care for them and like you would miss them not being in the chapter, right? I think as VPM, there's specifically like for our current VPS, he asked to go associate like twice. And both times I was like, but I would be so sad. And then he was like, okay, you know what? I guess I could stay. And then I'm like, okay, just like in general, but the main takeaway from that is just make sure that like they feel like they are wanted in the chapter, and this is like a home for them. They find their brothers in that community there.
For me, my chapter is small, so it is very much easier to get opinions of everyone. But it's what fellowship events do you want to do? What fellowships events do you want to do? What service projects do you want to do? So like they have it, and what I'm gonna start also probably implementing is like I want to do this fellowship event or I want to do this service event. Great. Do you want to plan it? So they now have a vested interest of it. It's like, great, you wanted to do the service project. Now you can also plan the service project. So one, less things on my vice president of service plate, but then also they're like, oh, I did this, like I run with it. And maybe that also just encourages them in future years for them to move up the ranks and maybe take over VP of service and everything like that.
I want to say that our chapter does something similar. We have a forum where you can suggest fellowship and service events, and then also we have committees for that where instead of just having the officer plan those events, we have like a whole committee that plans those events. But I also, as Griffin was saying, I like that idea of having whoever suggested the idea, maybe if they're interested in planning that event, to go forward with it. I really like that idea. I'll probably talk to my chapter about that.
All right. I think
All
I'll
right.
turn it over to Marissa.
Yeah. So thank you guys for offering input, answering questions for each other, and sharing a bit about how your chapter does things. Just from this conversation, you can see that, we all, of course, are united under APO, but maybe do it a little differently on our campus. And opportunities like this evening are great chances for us to connect, collaborate, see what other groups are doing. So I strongly encourage you all, when you're able to participate in town halls like this, participate in person and virtual events in your section, in your region, and beyond, to continue these conversations. I do want to share before we wrap up and I give Melody and Disraeli a chance to share any closing remarks. Stay connected. If there is something someone shared during this session and you have questions and want to dig further into an idea they shared or learn more about implementing members taking ownership of a project they suggest, like Griffin said, we can help you get connected to another student leader that attended this evening or work with you one-on-one to help, develop an idea. So I'm going to put an email, that same email I shared before, but also a textable number. This is a number that you should save in your phone. This is a two-way street. You can text this number and get answers from a real person about recruitment questions, about, oh crap, I lost my login to Officer Portal. Anything under the sun, you'll get an answer for or pointed in the right direction for support. And likewise, you can expect to see some text messages from this number of, hey, reminder that spring charter reaffirmation deadline's coming up, or hey, we saw your chapter submit a really solid pledge class. Congratulations. We can't wait to see you guys grow. So I'm going to put that email and phone number in the chat for you. Keep up the great work, everyone. I know we all have our challenges that we have faced or are facing this spring, but wish you all a lot of luck in the term ahead and a lot of growth. So with that, Melody and Disraeli, if you want to go ahead and get us wrapped up.
Yeah, I'm just going to say I look forward to seeing all of you in Philadelphia in December. And I look forward for hearing about all the good things that your chapters are doing to celebrate the 100th as we navigate our way through this year. As Marissa said, please use each other. There were so many times this evening that I saw heads nodding, or I saw somebody go, oh yeah, my chapter's got 8 people too. Or, the other extreme where, oh, my chapter's got over 200 people and we have different problems. But some of the connections that you can make with each other. And then hopefully you will see some of these similar and familiar faces at sectional, regional, and national events as well. So look forward to seeing you all, and have a great evening.
Good night, y'all. Thank you for coming.